I'm going to show you and demonstrate how the pen tool works. Right now I'm going to make a new layer, and I have the pen tool selected, and it works with the tool option bar, either the shape layer or the path layer here, paths. So I'll keep the shape button down, and the shape button, I'll click it. If I click drag, I get a curve point, and I get those little handles. See those little handles? If I just click, I get straight points. But if I click drag, little handles come out, and I get a curve point. And when I go back to my first point, see that little circle in the lower right of the pen? That will close my shape. Now, if I change my color in my foreground, I'll do it and show you. It has no effect on what I have here on the shape layer. If I want to change the color on my shape layer, I click up here, and I can put any color I want in it and hit OK. Now, I can adjust this because this is a vector layer. I can go in close. I can hit this black arrowhead, and when I hit the black arrowhead, you see all these little points are dark, and I can move the entire object. See? The entire object. But if I click on this and I get the direct selection tool, and I click off and click on, now I can select individual points. And you see this is a curve point because it has these handles. And I can adjust, I can pull this out, go back in, I can turn and rotate, and I can move and reshape my object. Now over here I have no handles because this is a straight point. I have no handles. If I want to convert this to a curve point, this is the convert point tool right here. I would click and drag and pull out a set of handles. See? Now if I convert it again and I just go click, now it's a straight point, and I can move it. It's back to being a straight point. I can also delete a point. I'll delete this point. Or I can add a point. There, I've added a new point. Pull it out. It's a curve point. Okay, and there's just the pen tool here. So this is how you work with the shape layer. Okay, and I have the black selection tool. And I can copy this and paste, and I have two on here on my shape. So now I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to make another new layer, and I have my pen tool selected, and this time I have a path. So I have this path, and I have a selection. I selected the whole thing. I can move it around. I can select it with the white arrow, click off, click on, and I can modify and I can change it. Go back to the black arrow, and I can right click and I can fill it either with a color in the foreground, or I can fill it with a pattern of any kind of pattern that I want. You see? Or I can put a stroke on it with the brush or with the pencil, any of the tools on it. I must have a feather stroke on it. That's what it looks like. So that's how the path tool is. And you see, here's my path yet. I can now do this, and I can save it. I have to find my path layer. You see, it's on my path layer up here. Now this, if I make a new path, this path will disappear unless I actually save this path layer. I can save this path, and then when I make a new path, that first path will still be there. It will not be gone. So that's a little bit of the introduction of how to use these layers. You also can use this with all these shapes. A lot of people do this by mistake. They have this path layer on right here. I'll make a new layer, this filled path, and you have all of these shape tools over here. You can use all of these different shape tools. I'll take this off. You see, with all different sizes. But you see, they're all on different layers over here. That's because I have this button selected, Create a New Shape Layer. This says Add to the Shape Layer. Now watch, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers here. Now I selected the button that says Add to the Shape Layer. You see, no more layers are coming on because they're all being added to one shape layer. So you always have to go up here and look on your tool option bar. Now you can select any of these and you can move them and change them around. Now everything that's on this layer has to stay orange. Unless I change this, see, everything on this layer turned blue. Now I can make this different, and I can make this different because they're all on different layers. And I can select them, and I can move them around and make them bigger and make them smaller. If I put my bounding box on, I can make them bigger. Then say yes. Select this, make it bigger, turn it around, say yes. And then when I get it the way I like, I can select my layers, hold my Shift key, take this one off, this here, and then I can say merge the layers that I have selected. And there they are. Now they're all pixels. They're not vector layers anymore. So that's a little bit about the introduction to the pen tool.